Talk about the longest 2 minutes of your life. Am I right? You're just staring at this little piece of plastic, waiting for an answer that could literally change everything. It's a moment that is just packed with so much hope, so much anxiety, and a million questions. We put so much trust in this little stick to give us a 99% accurate answer. But have you ever actually stopped to think about what's going on inside? What's the science behind it all? What is really happening during that 2-minute wait? Well, let's dive in and pull back the curtain on the magic of the home pregnancy test.
You know, it all comes down to one single, very specific, and very special chemical messenger. And it only shows up for one reason, and one reason only.
Okay, let me introduce you to the star of our show, human chorionic gonadotropin. Yeah, it's a mouthful, so we just call it HCG. Now, your body starts making this hormone only after a fertilized egg has snuggled in and implanted in the uterine wall. It's not there at any other time, which makes it the perfect, unmistakable signal that a test is looking for.
So think of it this way. The test isn't guessing. It's not some kind of magic 8-ball. It's like a super sophisticated radio that is tuned to pick up one and only one frequency. And when it detects HCG, it knows the "we're pregnant" announcement has officially been broadcast.
Now this is why patience is so important. After fertilization happens, it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 whole days for the egg to implant and for your body to even start producing that HCG messenger. And even then, the hormone needs more time to build up to a level that the test can actually pick up.
And this little ×2 here, this is the secret sauce. In a healthy early pregnancy, the amount of HCG in your system pretty much doubles every 48 to 72 hours. It's this incredible, rapid rise that doctors look for. It's also exactly why a test might be negative on a Monday, but turn clearly positive by Wednesday. It's all about giving that messenger enough time to really raise its voice.
So, knowing all this, how can you make sure that you're getting the most accurate results you possibly can? Because, and this is important, how you take the test matters just as much as when you take it.
All right, think of this as your pre-flight checklist for accuracy. First up, check that expiration date. An expired test is just not reliable. Second, try to use your first morning urine. That's when it's most concentrated, giving the test the biggest possible HCG signal to find. Third, and I can't stress this enough, read the instructions. Every brand is a little different. And finally, set a timer. Reading the test too early or, just as importantly, too late can totally mess up the result.
This chart lays it all out perfectly. I mean, sure, you can test before you miss your period. Some tests are designed for it, but your chance of getting an accurate result is just way lower. For that 99% accuracy they advertise on the box, the best time is the day after your expected period. And if your cycles are a little unpredictable, waiting a full week is your absolute best bet for a clear, correct answer. Okay, we have to talk about this. You've probably seen those DIY pregnancy tests online using things like salt or sugar or even toothpaste. Let's just be super clear. There is zero, and I mean zero, scientific evidence that any of those methods work. They're completely unreliable. All they do is give you a false sense of hope or a whole lot of unnecessary worry. Just stick to the tests that were actually designed for the job, okay?
All right, the moment of truth. You've waited, you've followed all the steps, you've set your timer, and now, it's time to figure out what those lines are actually trying to tell you.
Most of the time, this part is pretty straightforward. Every test has what's called a control line. That line has to show up, or the test is invalid. If that's the only line you see, the result is negative. But if a second line shows up alongside it, doesn't matter how dark or how faint it is, HCG has been detected, and that means the result is positive.
Ah yes, the famous faint positive. The result that has sent literally thousands of us running to Google for a second, third, or fourth opinion. So what is the deal with that whisper of a line? So, the key here, the absolute most important thing, is to tell the difference between a real result and a little trick of the light called an evaporation line. A faint positive, no matter how light, will have some color, usually pink or blue, and it will show up within the test's official time limit. It just means HCG is there, but the levels are still low. An evaporation line, on the other hand, is a colorless, grayish shadow that only shows up after the time limit is up. It's just a mark from the urine drying, and it means nothing. It's an invalid result.
So while these tests are incredibly accurate, they're not absolutely perfect 100% of the time. It's really important to understand the rare situations where the result might be a little bit misleading.
By far, the most common error you'll see is a false negative. That's when you actually are pregnant, but the test says you're not. And as this chart shows, the #1 reason for this, by a landslide, is simply testing too early, before those HCG levels have had a chance to climb high enough. Other causes can be things like using diluted urine from drinking a ton of water beforehand, or just using an old expired test.
Now, false positives? These are much, much rarer, but they can happen. Usually it's because of some external factor, like if you're taking certain fertility medications that actually contain HCG. Or it could happen if you've had a very recent birth or miscarriage, because the hormone can stick around in your system for a little while. And in some very, very rare cases, other medical issues can cause it.
Okay, so you have your result. The test has done its job. Let's talk about the really important part. What comes next?
If you see that positive line, first things first, just take a breath. That is big, big news. Then, your next step is to make a call to your doctor. They'll be able to confirm the pregnancy with a more sensitive blood test and get you started on the right path with prenatal care to make sure everything is healthy.
And what if the test is negative, but your period still hasn't shown up? Don't panic. Remember how HCG levels double every couple of days? Just wait a few days and test again. If a whole week goes by and your period is still late with negative tests, it's a really good idea to check in with your doctor. They can help you figure out if maybe stress or lifestyle changes or something else is causing the delay.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. That home pregnancy test is an absolutely incredible piece of science that you can use in your own home. It gives you a quick, private answer. But it's just the very first page of the story. Professional medical advice is what's going to guide you safely on whatever path comes next.
So, whether that result brings you a wave of relief, a burst of joy, or just a whole new set of questions, remember what it is. It's information. And information is power. It's the power you need to take the next step in your own health journey, whatever that may be.